Hello everyone, welcome to IELTS Writing Mastery course. So this is Dr. Fatima and I will be guiding you all the way down regarding all the secrets for IELTS writing module. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, we will have the general understanding of the format of the test. The total time duration of the writing test is 60 minutes and the writing test has two parts. This is what we call task 1 and task 2. You must write a minimum of 150 words for task 1 and a minimum of 250 words for task 2. And always remember, task 1 should take you around 20 minutes and task 2 will take around 14 minutes. And the most important thing is that task 2 contributes twice as many marks to your overall score as task 1. So the weightage of task 2 is double as compared to task 1. So that's worth considering. Now we will have a look on the variants of the IELTS test. There are two variants of IELTS writing test. One is academic and the other one is general training. And task 2 is the same for both tests, but task 1 is different. The main difference is in the style of the questions and the type of language required to answer it. Now we are going to go ahead and discuss about general training writing task. For general training writing task 1, you are required to write a letter requesting information or explaining the situation in relation to a specific circumstance. Your letter must be in one of the following styles as appropriate to the situation. First one, we have formal letter. This is to someone you don't know. An informal letter to a friend or a close family member. So that is the basic difference between formal and informal letter. We will consider just two of them. The third situation is something we call, semi-formal letter. This is about you do know the other person, just like your manager. You do know the person, you meet that particular person very often. But the thing is, again, there is, some formality between you and the other person, like your teachers, your, managers. But we are going to categorize our letter into two types, formal and informal one, and you will not have any problem. So that's all about it. Now we will discuss the overview of the writing task 2. For academic writing, task 2, you must write an essay on a topic of general interest, and the essay will be a response to a specific point of view, problem, or argument that will be stated in the question, and your response to both tasks should be written in a formal style. Now we will discuss the general training writing task 2. For general training task 2, you will be required to write an essay on a topic of general interest. Your essay will be a response to a specific point of view, problem, or argument that will be stated in the question. You may use a more personal style than would be required in academic writing task 2, right? So that's the basic difference in task 2. Now we will go ahead and discuss how your language skills are going to be assessed because marking criteria is the criteria on the basis of which you are going to get marks. The world status shows the writing score for everywhere in this world. The average writing score is 5.5. So it's worth considering the writing marking criteria. So you must be aware how to get a band 7 or higher in IELTS writing. So I can't give much emphasis on that, but that's really important. Number 1, we have task achievement. Number 2, we have coherence and cohesion. Number 3 is about lexical resources. Number 4 is grammatical range and accuracy, right? So all those four criteria include 25% contribution towards your overall writing score. So task achievement is generally something you have written appropriate response and you have written total 150 words for task 1 and 250 words for task 2. And coherence and cohesion is all about organization of your ideas, there must be relevancy, and there must be, organization of your thought. Number 3 is lexical resources. This is what we call vocabulary and grammatical range and accuracy. This is really, really important in order to get, band 7 or higher. So what I will do, I will give you a step-by-step demonstration for each and everything in detail, right? We will do the video quizzes as well and different tutorials to have a, appropriate understanding of each and everything. So you don't need to worry about, we are going to discuss each and everything in detail. So next we have, the IELTS writing coherence and cohesion, how you can improve your IELTS writing score. And I will discuss each and everything in detail. All right, so we will go ahead and discuss like how we can improve our coherence and cohesion within the IELTS writing score. Okay, so let's get started. We are going to discuss.
Decided to take the IELTS exam. Congratulations. Success starts with IELTS. Here we look at the criteria of coherence and cohesion. This is one of 4 criteria on which your writing will be assessed. Look for our other 3 criteria videos. Coherence refers to the flow of your writing. Your ideas should be logically organized and appropriately sequenced into paragraphs so they are easy to understand and follow. Cohesion refers to linking words that help you connect ideas and show the relationship between paragraphs, sentences, or parts of sentences. So this criteria looks at how a writing test answer is organized and how to link information and ideas. Here is one simple way to sequence ideas for effective coherence for this Task 2 essay. For example, the threat of nuclear weapons maintains world peace. Nuclear power provides cheap and clean energy. The benefits of nuclear technology far outweigh the disadvantages. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Introduction. Paraphrase question and include your opinion. Body paragraphs. Arguments for nuclear technology. Body paragraphs. Against nuclear technology. Conclusion. Paraphrase your opinion. Plan your essay like this before you start writing. It's important to use paragraphs. These give structure to a piece of writing. Think of paragraphs as a signpost, telling whoever reads your work where your ideas are going and when you are moving on to a different point. Since paragraphs are used to explain your argument in stages, express one idea or set of ideas in each paragraph. A good way to start a paragraph is with a short, simple sentence that introduces the main idea of the paragraph. Teachers often call this a topic sentence. In the remainder of the paragraph, provide explanations, evidence, examples, or personal experiences to build on and extend that idea. Connect and show the relationship between your paragraphs and sentences by using a wide range of linking words or phrases appropriately. See our accompanying download for different examples. They are usually these types: introducing ideas, adding similar ideas, contrasting ideas, giving examples or evidence, explaining results, sequencing, providing explanations, sharing your experience, drawing conclusions, introducing your opinions. Linking can be done in a variety of other ways. For instance, through referencing by using pronouns. Firstly, I'm very happy to receive this award. Additionally, I would like to thank my colleagues. Without them, I wouldn't be standing here accepting this. And also using substitution. Famous people deserve a private life. But celebrities also sell newspapers. As you practice writing essays, review your writing and circle the different linking devices. Then, think about how you could use different words to avoid repetition. Don't overuse linking words or phrases, however. This becomes irritating for the reader. The key in using linking words is appropriacy. Ask yourself, is this necessary and does it match the content that follows? For more information, please see our other writing test videos: task achievement, lexical resources, and grammatical range and accuracy.
All right, so that's all about the coherence and cohesion. I hope it's all clear, like how we are going to build the foundation for our writing tasks. So the main focus is on the task 2, but we will have to apply the same sequencing of ideas in task 1 as well, right? So this is really important for your, writing task for task 1 and task 2 as well. Now, next we will have a look on the grammar, improving your IELTS writing score. So let's go further.
So, you've decided to take the IELTS exam. Well done. Our expertise is your opportunity. Here we look at the criteria of grammatical range and accuracy. This is one of 4 criteria on which you will be tested. Look for the other 3 criteria in other videos. This criteria focuses on the range and accuracy of the grammar demonstrated by the test taker. For grammatical range, consider whether what you are describing is something that happened in the past, use past tenses, is happening in the present, use similar present tenses, or is predicting the future. Use a variety of future tenses. Sometimes you can use a combination of these different tenses. For example, when analyzing an IELTS Task 1 diagram, note the time period being described and use the matching tenses when describing the information. Demonstrating a range of written grammar might also mean using some of these tenses: comparatives, conditionals, modal verbs, and the passive tense, especially for Task 1 process descriptions. Look for our speaking and grammar download for examples of all these tenses. It's important to learn and practice a variety of grammatical tenses. In all writing tasks, also use a variety of complex structures. Complex structures are sentences with multiple bits of information. A simple sentence usually has a single piece of information. When you practice writing, transform simple sentences into more complex sentences by adding more information to the sentence. For example, ask yourself some WH questions to see what else you can add to the original sentence. For instance, these days everyone has a mobile phone. Think to yourself, who, what, why? These days, people of all generations have mobile phones, especially smartphones, because you can do so many things with them. In your writing, there should be a balance of simple and complex sentences. In addition, punctuation can change meaning. For instance, we got in through the window which someone had left open. We got in through the window which someone had left open. Students aren't expected to be 100% accurate in their writing. However, control is important. Some grammatical errors impact communication more than others. You will be scored according to the impact of errors on communication rather than on the number of mistakes. Leave time at the end of writing to identify and correct errors. You will always find grammar or spelling mistakes. Correcting these can improve your score. See the grammar checklist in the accompanying download. For more information, please see the other writing test videos: Coherence and Cohesion, Lexical Resource, and Grammatical Range and Accuracy.
All right, so that's all about it. Now we will go ahead and discuss about task response. That's also really important in IELTS writing marking criteria. Right, so let's dive further.
So you've decided to take the IELTS. There are two tasks differs depending on the IELTS writing test is divided into two tasks. The first task differs depending on the module you are taking. There are two IELTS modules. The IELTS academic module is generally taken by anyone intending to pursue higher education studies in an English-speaking institute or country. The IELTS general training module is generally taken for immigration or employment purposes. Here we look at the criteria of task response for writing Task 1 and task achievement for writing Task 2. These represent one of 4 criteria on which you will be tested. Look for the other 3 criteria in other videos. These criteria focus on the degree to which the exam question has been answered properly. In the academic module, there is a writing task of at least 150 words where you should summarize, describe, or explain a table, graph, or diagram. You might be expected to make comparisons too. Successfully negotiating this academic Task 1 means you will need to identify all the key features in the diagram. You might lose marks if important details are left out. Provide sufficient detail for a meaningful explanation, not too much detail, not too little. Ensure accuracy when referring to data or describing trends or processes. It's important to write a clear overview. This means summarizing the most significant trends or features from the data or information in the diagram. This is not simply an introduction to the topic. That's a common mistake. Here's an example of identifying significant trends. Looking at this graph, we would say, from the graph it is apparent that participation of both men and women in full-time employment has increased over this time period. However, while the numbers of women are generally increasing, the numbers of men in part-time employment are fluctuating. In a question requesting a process description, the overview might identify the key stages in the process. For instance, how many stages there are and what each are, briefly. In the general training module, there is a letter writing task of at least 150 words. In this task, explain the reason for the letter, include all the points mentioned in the question, and use a consistent and appropriate tone. In both modules, Task 2 is a short essay task of at least 250 words. You are expected to present your opinion on a specific topic, supporting your ideas with evidence. Task 2 contributes more to your overall writing mark than Task 1. To master Task 2, you will need to respond completely to all parts of the question. Develop and support your ideas. Don't just mention them in a single sentence and move on to the next idea. Add explanations, examples, or experience. Ensure your opinion is clear in your answer. Make sure you underline key words in the exam question. Identify how many parts there are to the question, and make sure you do everything you are asked to do. Before you write, plan your ideas, though keep them relevant. Then group and sequence them. Spending 2 to 3 minutes doing this can save you time.
So the overview of the total writing exam is again task 1. For task 1, we have to write a minimum of 150 words and the total time duration is 20 minutes. And for task 2, you have to write a minimum of 250 words and the time duration is 40 minutes. So total time duration for complete writing task is 60 minutes, either you are taking general training or academic one. So now we will focus the general training writing task 1, IELTS letter format. For general training writing task 1, you must write 150 words or more. If you write less than 150 words, you are unlikely to get more than a band 5 for task achievement, as you won't have fulfilled the marking criteria. You have around 20 minutes to plan and write your letter. Task 1 contributes half as many marks to your score as Task 2. So Task 1 is worth 33% of the total marks in the writing test. For IELTS letter format, we have different types, formal and informal. The letter must be in one of the following style as appropriate to the situation. Formal is to someone you don't know or don't know well. Informal is to write a letter to a friend or a close family member. You have to follow this rule. If the question includes the word friend, use informal language. And if the question does not include the word friend, use formal language. Now we have an example of the informal letter. Your friend has written a letter to you asking for advice for his or her parents who will visit your area. Write a letter to your friend. In your letter, you should suggest the places they can visit, recommend a place where they can stay, offer to do something with them. So the format is going to remain same. So here we have a word friend. It's mean we will use informal language. And the 3 bullet points are there. This is the same format. The real letter will appear in your exam. Now let's have a look on the formal letter example. Your company is going to give a special training course for staff. Your manager has asked you to find out if the local conference center has the right facilities to hold this course. Write a letter to the manager. So here we cannot see any word like friend, so we will follow the formal language. Write a letter to the manager of the conference center. In your letter, give details about the course. Describe what equipment you will need for the course. Ask some further questions about the facilities at the conference center. So that's all about it. Now we have different letter topics. In your exam, you will get one of these 7 types of letter. We have our request letter, a letter of complaint, an apology letter, a letter of explanation, an application or resignation letter, an invitation letter, a letter to make an arrangements. So what we will do, we will have a look on all those letter types, like what kind of language we can use in formal and informal letter, and then we will see like how to write it down. So number one, we have the letter question structure. Before writing, the understanding of question is really important. Okay, so let's dive further. So here we have the question. You want to learn a language. There is a teacher near to where you live. Okay, so this is the topic. This is part one of our question. Our letter question consists of three parts. This is the part one, part two, and part three. Part one is the topic. So here we have the topic. You want to learn a language. There is a teacher near to where you live. Part two is the person you must write to. Write a letter to your teacher. So this is something part two, like who you should write to. Part three is what you should write about, listed as three bullet points, right? So what you should write about, we have three bullet points. Say how you came to know about him or her, explain why you want to learn, and ask what help they can offer. So this is our letter structure. Before writing your answer, the understanding of your question is really important. Okay, so next we have as letter writing structure, like how you are going to write your letter. So use this easy to remember six-part structure. We will start our letter with dear, either it's formal or informal one. If it's the formal, we can say dear sir, dear madam. And if it's the informal one, we can say dear Ahmed, dear Allison, dear Howard, what else it is. So we can write this way. Next point, number two, we have paragraph one. This is all about purpose, why you are writing this letter. So you have to state this purpose in the very first paragraph. Paragraph two is something we will write about our first bullet point. Paragraph three is to write about second bullet point, and paragraph four is where you have to write about third bullet point. Okay, and finally we are going to do a sign off, right? So this is really easy to remember, six-part structure. Next, we have letter writing planning. Planning is really important because before writing, you have to spend 3 to 5 minutes in order to plan your letter so that you can write it down effectively and immediately. Number one, we have dear teacher, and paragraph one is the purpose. And for the first example that we have seen for the formal letter is our purpose is to ask about, language lessons. Paragraph two is to, say how you came to know about him or her. This is bullet point one. So you can take notes for this. Paragraph three is explain why you want to learn. This is bullet point two. Paragraph four is bullet point three, where you have to ask what help they can offer, right? And finally, we have sign. So in this way, you are supposed to do the writing. You can take your bullet points and make the further planning before writing your essay. Always remember, if you want to get band 7 or higher, pay attention. You have to do the planning first, because sometimes most of the students used to say we have done the planning in our own mind and we can write it down. This is not the case in IELTS. Your organization of ideas are not going to be the same. So in order to get higher bands, incoherence, cohesion, so you have to plan your essay or letter first, and then you should write it down. Here, let's have a look on the example of IELTS informal letter. Here we have the letter. You are going to visit the town where your friend went to university. Write a letter to your friend. In your letter, explain why you will be visiting the town. Bullet point two, give details of where you will be staying, and ask your friend to recommend some evening entertainment. So this is our topic, first one. And this is to whom you should write. You should write to your friend. We can write dear Ben, right? And then explain further what you should include. These are the three bullet points. Now let's have the, model answer. Dear Ben, I hope this is the purpose, right? I hope you are very well and enjoying your new job. I'm writing to I'm writing to tell you about my planned visit to Bristol and want to ask your advice on a couple of things. This is done. Now I'm going to talk about in paragraph two about my first bullet point, explain why you will be visiting. Okay, my trip is for a training course, but I should get a bit of free time to look around. I'm so looking forward to it as I know how much you loved your years at university in the city. Now, second bullet point, give details where you will be staying. Coincidentally, I will be staying in college accommodation, although the seminars take place at the Corenson Hotel nearby. It's very expensive to stay there, so my company has an arrangement with the university to use their accommodation during the summer holiday when there are no students, which is when we will be there, right? So this is what I have done. Finally, is the third bullet point. Ask your friend to recommend some evening entertainment. So third bullet point is explain. What I wanted to ask you was where you recommend going for some evening entertainment. Pubs in the city centers with live music would be perfect. I will be on the course with a few mates from work and we would love to hear some local bands. If you could point us to a cheap place to eat, that would be great too. Many thanks. All the best, Jack. Okay, so this is all about it. So we have done the informal letter. Next, we have formal letter. Let's have a look on the example. Dear Mrs. Jones, thank you for the invitation to leaving due on Saturday, 15th May. Regrettably, I am unable to attend. Unfortunately, the date clashes with my wedding anniversary, and my wife has already booked tickets for us to see a play at the Queen's Theatre. I'm disappointed that I shall miss this special event and not have the opportunity to celebrate your pending retirement with you. I would like to thank you for all the support you have given me over the years. You made me feel so welcome when I first joined the company as a shy and nervous 20 years old and have always helped me to recognize and develop my strengths. It is because of you that I have received several promotions in the past few years. I wish you a wonderful and well deserved retirement. I hope it includes many happy hours on the golf course and that you are able to take the cruise that I know you have always wanted to. Yours sincerely, Jackie Spear. Okay, so here you can understand Dawn, this is semi formal one, right, dear Mr. Jones, and yours sincerely. So here we have done all the best, Jackie, and yours sincerely in your full name. So that's the basic difference between formal and informal letter. Next, informal letter writing vocabulary. Number one, we have the greetings. Always start your letter with the dear followed by the first name of the friend. For instance, dear Alan. Next, we have a request. Please, can you give? I would be really grateful if you could. I was wondering if you would. Would you mind? So all these are the phrases that you can use in your request letter. Next, we have an apology letter. I'm very sorry about it. I'm really sorry, but I would like to apologize for it. Next, we have a letter of explanation. I'm just writing to let you know that. I'm writing to let you about, to tell you about. I thought you would like to know that. Next, we have an invitation letter. Make an invitation. I'm having a party and would love you to come. Do you fancy going to? Would you like to? If you want to accept or decline an invitation, I would love to come. Count me in. I'm sorry, but I can't make it. Next, we have a letter to make an arrangement. Are you free on? Would Friday suits you? Can you make it on? Next, we have stating purpose. This is something that we can use in our very first paragraph of our letter. I'm writing to. I just wanted to let you know that. Next, we have thanking. Thank you. Thanks so much for. I can't thank you enough. So all these phrases that you can use. Next, we have expressing satisfaction. I was delighted to hear that. I was over the moon to hear about. I was thrilled to find out that. I'm so happy to hear that. Okay. Next, we have giving good news. I'm delighted to tell you that I thought you might like to know that. If you want to give a bad news, I'm afraid I have some bad news to tell you. I have a bit of bad news to share. Okay, next we have the sign off. This is the sign off for the informal letter, and you must sign off your letter correctly. Use one of those phrases followed by your just first name. All the best. See you soon. Keep in touch. For example, all the best, Jack. Okay, you would never add your surname when writing to a friend. Obviously, we know it's the informal letter. Now we will go ahead and discuss about writing vocabulary for formal letters. First of all, we have the greetings. Use dear sir or madam if you don't know the name of a person you are writing to. This will be the most likely situation. Use dear plus surname if you do know their name, like dear Mr. Smith, dear Mrs. Jones. Do not abbreviate or acronym. I'm writing to complain. This is wrong for formal letter. For formal letter, you should not abbreviate it am, I. You have to write it appropriately. Like I am, I would like to apply for. So that's all about it, like how you will start. Now we have a formal letter vocabulary for a request letter. Could you please, would you consider? I would be grateful if. I would appreciate if you could. Next, we have a letter of complaint. I'm very happy about. I write to complain about. I'm extremely dissatisfied with. I'm writing to express my disappointment. So that's the wording for complaint letter. Next, we have an application or resignation letter. So for application or resignation letter, we have I'm writing to apply for the position of I would like to apply for. Please find my CV attached. I'm writing to tender my resignation. Next, we have an invitation. I regret that I'm unable to attend. I'm pleased to accept. A letter to make an arrangement. I'm writing to inquire about. I'm writing to confirm the arrangements for. Next, we have the sign off for the formal letter. I look forward to hearing from you. I hope to hear from you in the near future. I await your response. I expect to hear from you soon. I thank you for your consideration. Please respond at your earliest convenience. There are three ways you can sign off your formal letter. Yours sincerely, yours faithfully, and kind regards. So that's all about, the as formal letter, how you can do the sign off. That's all about as general training task one. Now we will go ahead and discuss as writing task two. The 5 question types are included in as writing task two: opinion essay, agree or disagree, discussion essay, problem solution essay, plus causes and solution, advantages and disadvantages essay, double question essays, right? So all these 5 types are there. Now we will go ahead and discuss step-by-step strategy guide. This 5-step strategy can be used for any question. First one is the analysis of the question. Number 2 is to plan your answer. Number 3 is to write the introduction. Number 4 is to write the 2 main body paragraphs. And, number 5 is to write your conclusion. So we will have to follow those 5 question types, okay? And 5 steps to write the essay, and we will not have any problem at all. The question identification is very important. First of all, we are going to do the question analysis. For opinion essay, we have this type of question. Some people think that more money should be spent on protecting endangered species, while others think it is the waste of valuable money. What's your opinion? Opinion essay could be in the way, what's your opinion? Do you agree or disagree? To what extent do you agree or disagree? Do you think it is a positive or negative development? All these 3 ways are going to be included in opinion essay. Number 2, we have the discussion essay. Some people think that exercise is the key to health, while others feel that having a balanced diet is more important. Discuss both sides and give your opinion. So this is the discussion essay, because here you are going to discuss both the viewpoints, and also you are supposed to give your own personal opinion. Number 3, we have problem solution essay, or this is what we call causes and solution. Due to poorer countries experiencing a brain drain, they are seeing many professionals, such as doctors and teachers, leaving to work in more developed countries. What problems does this pose? What solutions can be suggested to deal with this situation? Okay, so this is something we have to talk about, the problems and the probable solutions. Number 4, we have advantages and disadvantages essay. It is becoming increasingly popular to have a year off between finishing school and going to universities. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this? So next we have double question essay. Today, more people are traveling to foreign countries than ever before. Why is this the case? What are the benefits of traveling for the traveler? Second example, most people agree that money cannot buy happiness. Why is happiness difficult to define? How can people achieve happiness? So that's all about it, like how you are going to plan and prepare, and how you are going to identify which type of essay it is. Now we will have a look on the essay structure. We are going to follow the 4-paragraph structure. Paragraph 1 is all about introduction, where you will have to paraphrase the question and give your opinion and state 2 supporting reasons. Paragraph 2 is the main body paragraph 1, where you will have to write the topic sentence and outline the first reason for supporting this view. And then you will have to give explanation, like explain the topic sentence. Finally, we will have to write the example, give an example, or expand the idea further. You can always expand the idea further if you are unable to predict any example. Main body paragraph 2 is the paragraph 3, okay, where you will have to write the topic sentence 2. You will have to outline second reason for supporting this view, and then you will have to give the explanation to explain this idea, and then the example, give an example or expand the idea further. Number 4 is all about conclusion, where you will have to summarize opinion and give key reasons. So this is the basic structure format that we will follow. Now we have the planning. For us essay planning, we can employ different strategies like brainstorming, mind mapping, and example method. So this is something like kind of brainstorming. You can write your own opinion and you can plan your essay in the same way what you are going to write in the paraphrasing, what synonyms you are going to use. Either you are going to agree or disagree to topic sentence. Here you have to give the 2 main reasons and then further explaining further for your planning before writing. Now we will go ahead and discuss like IELTS writing, like how to write a perfect, introduction for different tasks to essays. So I'm gonna start it. Let's dive further.
Welcome to video lessons at Master IELTS Online. We recommend you to watch our video related to the essay types. Click the link above. First of all, here are some important points you should know about writing an introduction. Your introduction should act as a roadmap to your essay. When the examiner reads your introduction, he should know what the rest of your essay will look like. Besides, your introduction shouldn't be too long. To be precise, there shouldn't be more than 3-4 sentences. And make sure you don't make your introduction too specific. It should have the general idea of what your supporting paragraphs are going to be about. So in the introduction, you don't give examples or detailed explanations to your point. Now we're going to learn how to write introductions for arguments essays, discussion essays, reason and solution essays, and 2-question essays. So first, let us focus on how to write an introduction to an argument essay. When we write an introduction to an argument essay, there should be at least 3 sentences in your introduction. The background sentence, which simply says something general about the topic given in the essay question. It does not state any opinion about the essay question. Usually, something general about the topic is mentioned. We can paraphrase the topic sentence of the question itself. Detailed background sentence is the second sentence in our introduction paragraph. It is a more detailed background statement, so in this sentence, you would probably want to include some information about the viewpoint. Thesis is the most important sentence in your entire essay because it answers the essay question directly. In the case of our essay question, we are being asked if we agree or disagree. In thesis, you should say clearly whether you agree or disagree. Look at the essay question below and see how to write an introduction to it. In some societies, the amount of crime committed by teenagers is growing. Some people think that regardless of age, teenagers who commit major crimes should receive adult punishment. Do you agree or disagree? Before writing the introduction, try to understand the question clearly. And remember that every essay question consists of a topic, viewpoint, and a specific question or questions. With the given essay question, the topic is crime committed by teenagers. The viewpoint is regardless of age, teenagers who commit major crimes should receive adult punishments. Specific question is, do you agree or disagree? So after analyzing the question, we could write the introduction the following way. Background sentence. In recent years, the crime rate among adolescents has been increasing at a prolific rate. Detailed background sentence. There is a view that if teenagers commit severe offences, they should receive adult punishment. Thesis. Personally, I strongly disagree with this opinion, and this essay will support my view. So the complete introduction should look the following. In recent years, the crime rate among adolescents has been increasing at a prolific rate. There is a view that if teenagers commit severe offences, they should receive adult punishment. Personally, I strongly disagree with this opinion, and this essay will support my view. As you can see in the background sentence, the writer has paraphrased the statement from the question, and it reflects the topic, which is the growth of crime committed by teenagers. In the detailed background sentence, the writer has mentioned the viewpoint from the question, which is, there is a view that if teenagers commit severe offences, they should receive adult punishment. Finally, in the thesis, the writer has clearly stated his opinion. Failing to write your opinion in an argument essay can make you lose marks heavily, so always make sure you have given your opinion. Now let us look at the example of writing an introduction to discussion essays. While writing introduction for discussion essays, you can follow the given formula. Background sentence, statement of points of view to be analysed, outline sentence. As you can see, when you write discussion essays, there is no thesis, which means you don't have to give your opinion in the introduction. Let's look at a discussion essay question and an example of an introduction. Some believe that the money spent on space research has brought enormous benefits to mankind, yet others are in the view that this money could be spent on more needful sectors. Discuss both these views and give your opinion. So the introduction should be as follows. Background sentence. The investment in space exploration has become a debatable topic nowadays. Statements have points of view to be analysed. Some believe that mankind has benefited immensely by exploring the space, while others hold the view that such a large amount of money should be invested in sectors of higher priority. Outline sentence. Both sides of this argument will be analysed before a reasoned conclusion is drawn. The complete introduction should be as follows. The investment in space exploration has become a debatable topic nowadays. Some believe that mankind has benefited immensely by exploring the space, while others hold the view that such a large amount of money should be invested in sectors of higher priority. Both sides of this argument will be analysed before a reasoned conclusion is drawn. As you can see, the topic sentence reflects the topic of the question, which is the money spent on space research. The writer has paraphrased this into investment in space research. After the background sentence, the writer has written the two statements that will be analysed, and in the outline sentence has stated that both views will be discussed and a conclusion will be given. Now let us look at how to write an introduction to reason solution essays. We can use the following structure to write the introduction. Background sentence, detailed background sentence, and outline sentence, which shows the purpose of the essay. Well, let's look at an essay question and an introduction related to the question. These days, in many countries, fewer and fewer people want to become teachers, particularly in secondary schools. What are the reasons of that, and how could the problem be solved? A generation ago, teaching in a high school was considered an extremely well-respected and popular job. And in some countries, this is still true. However, in many countries of the world, there has been a sharp drop in the number of young people who want to become high school teachers. This essay will look at the reasons of that trend and propose some solutions. As you can see, the background sentence relates to the topic, which is teaching. And then, in the detailed background sentence, the writer introduces the problem, stating that there is a sharp drop in the number of young people who want to become high school teachers. Finally, in the outline sentence, he has stated the purpose of the essay, which is to discuss the reasons of that problem and suggest solutions. Remember, in a reason solution essay, you don't have to give your opinion because the task doesn't ask you to do it. Finally, we're going to look at how to write an introduction for two question essays. What is very important here is that the introduction must address both questions. Many crimes are often related to the consumption of alcohol. some people think that the best way to reduce the crime rate is to ban alcohol. Do you think this is an effective measure against crime? What other solutions can you suggest? So as you can see in the above essay question, the topic is crime related to alcohol consumption. The viewpoint is, some people think that the best way to reduce crime rate is to ban alcohol. And as you can see, there are two questions. Do you think this is an effective measure against crime? And what other solutions can you suggest? So the introduction for the essay question could be structured the following way. Background sentence. Drinking alcohol is not considered to be unacceptable in the modern society and leads to many criminal activities and violence. Statement of point of view. There is a view that prohibiting alcohol is the most effective measure to diminish crime rate. Thesis. Even though some may consider it as a forceful measure, I am strongly in support of this. Outline sentence. In this essay, I will support my view and put forward alternative solutions to overcome this issue. So the complete introduction should be as follows. Drinking alcohol is not considered to be unacceptable in the modern society and leads to many criminal activities and violence. There is a view that prohibiting alcohol is the most effective measure to diminish crime rate. Even though some may consider it as a forceful measure, I am strongly in support of this. In this essay, I will support my view and put forward alternative solutions to overcome this issue. Pay attention to how the writer has paraphrased, and as you can see, since the question has asked the opinion, whether it's an effective measure, he has clearly stated it. Well, we hope this video would help you to write better introductions.
About how to write a perfect introduction, okay? Now I will go ahead and share all the super amazing tips for writing, 7+ band type of introduction. So we are going to divide it further into 3 parts: paraphrased questions, thesis statement or hook statement, and outline statement, okay? So let's dive further. Some young people are leaving the countryside to live in the cities and towns, leaving only old people in the countryside. Do you think this is a positive or a negative development? So this is entirely, the opinion essay. So first step, what I'm going to do, I'm going to plan it beforehand, before writing, right? I have done my planning. Like I will use the synonyms for young people as the younger generation. For countryside, I will write the rural areas, right? And for, old people, I will use the word elderly. This is going to be included in my planning. And then I will make 2 ideas like I think this is something, problematic. This is negative development. I will write the word problematic consequences. And next, I am going to plan for 2 ideas. Idea 1 would be the depletion of rural forces, and idea 2 will be the loss of educational facilities. Local educational facilities. So that's what I have already done. Now I'm going to write it down in my introduction. And you can see the migration of the younger generation to the urban areas is leaving many rural locations populated predominantly by the elderly. This essay argues that the loss of young people from the rural landscape has problematic consequences. The 2 most serious are the depletion of the rural workforce and the loss of local educational facilities. So this outline statement in the green is really, really important because this statement is going to design further what we are going to write in our body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. So that's really important. So it's all about our introduction. Now, next we will have a look on how we are going to write our main body paragraph. For main body paragraph, we will follow the 3-part structure: topic, sentence, explanation, and example. Here we have 2 ideas: the depletion of rural workforce and the loss of educational local facilities. So the first topic sentence would be, when 18 to 30 years old moves to towns and cities in search of new opportunities, they leave behind an aging population to do all the work. And the topic sentence 2, in many rural areas, there is no longer a village school for local children to attend. Okay, so this is topic sentence 2. Now we'll have a look on the complete body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. For topic sentence 1, when the 18 to 30 years old move into towns and cities in search of new opportunity. They will leave behind an aging population to do all the work. And now I'm going to explain this idea further and provide an example. Most employment in the countryside involves manual labor. This can be difficult for older people to manage as it is far more suited to fit and healthy young adults. A government survey carried out over the past decades reveals that number of families formed being sold off to the developers is increasing year by year. The main reason given for this is that the parents can no longer manage to do all the hard work themselves, and their sons and daughters have moved to urban areas to seek new opportunities. Now, let's have a look on the body paragraph 2. Here we have topic sentence 2. In many rural areas, there is no longer a village school for the local children to attend. And next, we have explanation. With fewer young families living on the farms in the villages, there are not enough kids to keep the local primary schools open. This is a big loss to rural communities as it means that children still living in the countryside often have to travel a long way to school each day. In the region of Divion, where I live here, the student is writing his own example. Every village had its own school just 40 years ago. Now only a handful of them still exist. Most even have been, converted into houses or holiday cottages. So that's that reality. So now we are done with our body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2. Now let's have a look on the conclusion. The structure of a good conclusion includes what we are going to write in our conclusion. All right, so the structure of the conclusion include the ideal conclusion has one or two sentences. Sentence 1 is a summary of your main ideas, and sentence 2 is prediction or recommendation statement. This is the optional one. Here you can see the conclusion. In conclusion, the significant rise in the average age of people living in the rural areas has resulted in a lack of suitable people to fill the workforce and the closure of majority of village schools, causing hardship to local communities. Okay, so this is the conclusion that we have done. So now let's look at the prediction statement and what is the basic difference. A prediction is a statement about what you think will happen in the future, and recommendation is a statement about what you think should happen in the future. Okay, so this is the optional one. But in the summary, you can see what else we have done. This is simply the paraphrasing of your introduction, because here we have again written about our two, sporting ideas, right? Rise in the average age of people living in the rural areas, resulting in lack of suitable opportunities to fill the workforce and closure of educational facilities. So that's all about our introduction. Now we are done with our essay. We will have a look how we will plan, advantages and disadvantages essay further. All right, so now we are going to go ahead and discuss all the sample band 9 essay, and we are going to do the analysis for the questions and how we are going to write it down, right? So let's dive further. So the question is the opinion essay. A big salary is much more important than job satisfaction. Do you agree or disagree? Right? So we have followed the same strategies for all the samples, like introduction, body 1, body 2, and this is the conclusion. For introduction, we have written the first line, that is the, paraphrasing, and this is the thesis statement or opinion, and the further we have outline statement. Okay, so this is, in a way, it is argued that earning lots of money has more significance to people than being content in their work. This essay totally disagrees with the statement. I believe that people are increasingly concerned about the risk of stress related ill health experienced by the people highly paid position, and they care more about feeling fulfilled at work. So here we have given two ideas, stress related ill health, and the second idea is feeling fulfilled at work. What we are going to do, we are going to describe idea 1, stress related ill health, in the body 1, and feeling fulfilled at work in body 2. And then we are going to summarize both the ideas in the conclusion. So let's look at the body 1. Employees who earn a large income are generally under significant mental and emotional pressure to perform well and achieve targets. This causes many individuals to suffer high levels of stress, which can result in mental health problems. This happens to my uncle. He used to boast about his huge salary, but the boss kept increasing his sales targets, and in the end, The stress became too great and he had a nervous breakdown. Now he regrets about being, driven by the money. Now let's have a look on the body two. Here again, we have topic sentence two. A significant number two less stressful is the explanation. I am an example is then example. So here we are having a job that they enjoy doing and in which they feel valued is major concern for most of the modern workforce. A significant number of people are giving up well-paid positions to do jobs which pays less, but that they find more enjoyable and less stressful. I'm an example of this myself. A year ago, I left the teaching profession because the workload had become too great. And I'm now a gardener. I feel really fulfilled in this work and I'm much more relaxed and happy even though I earn far less money. Now we have further the conclusion. In conclusion, for a high percentage of population, earning a substantial wage is less important than job satisfaction because of the negative effects of work-related stress and the desire to feel happy and fulfilled at work, right? So that's all about, earning a lot of money is much more important than job satisfaction. So this is how we have disagreed with the statement and we have given our argument in the favor of the question. Now let's have a look on further, discussion essay. Some people think that, zoos are, should be cruel and should be closed down. However, others believe that zoos can be useful in protecting wild animals. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Here we have the discussion essay. Again, introduction, body one, body two, and conclusion. Some people argue that zoos help to preserve wild creatures, while others say that they are inhumane and should be abolished. While the development of breeding programs contributes to the preservation of endangered species, I believe that poor conditions that many animals held in captivity are kept in make the existence of zoos unacceptable. So this is the perfect kind of introduction. Here we have given our own personal opinion as well, and we have discussed both the views. Now, body one, on the one hand, there are many projects in existence in zoological parks around the world. The species facing extinctions have been successfully bred in captivity and their numbers increase substantially. This is the topic sentence one. Next, we have the explanation. This is important for ensuring the survival of animals under threat from poaching and the destruction of their natural environments. Next, we will write our example. A good example is golden line towing from Brazil, which can be tied out because of logging and mining activities because it's destroying its habitat. Today, a 20 wild golden line camelons were raised in captivity. Next, we have body two. On the other hand, you house their animals in private cages with a very little space to move around and behave naturally. Can lead to that becoming distracting, depressed, as well as due to lack of exercise. This is the explanation, and now we have example. A friend of mine recently visited a wildlife park where a violent holiday program was very upset to see the lions pacing up and down in a narrow bear pan and eagles in years. So small that they were unable to fly. So this is the example. Now finally we have the feeling always how to safeguard limited population of particular species. The suffering is experienced by many captive creatures due to unsuitable living conditions amounts to probability and they should not be allowed to exist. So in this way we have described our discussion essay two. Now let's have a look on the problem solution essay. Now, first of all, we will understand the statement. One problem faced by almost every large city is traffic congestion. What do you think the causes are and what solution can you suggest? One of the most serious issues facing the majority of large urban area is traffic jam. Now, we have used the synonym of traffic congestion as traffic jam. The main reason for this is the reason there were too many private cars in the roads these days and a viable solution, this is the solution, is to introduce more park and ride schemes. Now we will write the body one, here we will give the problem and in body two we will write the solution. The number of people owning cars increases year on year, with the most families now having more than one car. Most people like the convenience of traveling at the time they want to rather than being restricted to public transport timetables. So they prefer to drive themselves around rather than taking the bus or train. This is despite the fact that they frequently have to sit in long traffic queues. As they near the city centers, whenever I have to attend a meeting in the city, I always drive because it means that I can leave home when I want to rather than getting stressed about getting to the station in time to catch, the train. Next, we have the solution. A solution that is proving successful in many areas, park and ride, right? And this is where you park your car for free in a large car park on outskirts of the city and take a bus for the final part of your journey. The fee you pay to pay this fee you have to pay for the bus trip is usually very small, and this public transport system is generally very regular, running every 10 minutes or so. A survey carried out in the city of Exeter showed that the rush hour congestion decreased by 10% when the council set up a park and ride scheme to the north of the city. There was an additional drop of another 10% in the traffic volume when a second scheme began operating to the south. Now we have the conclusion. Finally, we have the conclusion. To conclude, the major urban problem of traffic congestion caused by excessive number of private cars on city roads can partially alleviated by the introduction of park and ride scheme on the city fringes. I would certainly to use one of it if it was introduced in my area. So that's all about it, how we have used the problem solution essay. Now we will go ahead and have a look on what kind of essay we will use further, right? All right, so at number 4, we have advantages, disadvantages essay. So here the question is, a lot of places in this world rely on tourism as main source of income. Unfortunately, tourism can also be a source of problem if it is not well managed. There are advantages and disadvantages of tourism in the modern world. Do you think that benefits of tourism outweighs its drawbacks? So here we have the difference. If the question is going to be like kind of what are the advantages and disadvantages of tourism, that's it, then you will not need to write your own opinion. But if it includes, do you think what like the benefits of tourism outweighs its drawback, then you will have to write your own opinion as well. So here we have the model answer. Although policymakers contribute hugely to the economies of many popular kind of destination, here we are talking about holidaymaker tourists. The influx of tourists can also cause serious issues. This essay will demonstrate how tourism can transform the economy of poor areas, but will also show that this can lead to such problems as the displacement of local, as the displacement of the local people. So this is while it's acknowledging that there are drawbacks, the essay will argue that the advantages of tourist industries outweighs the disadvantages. Now we will discuss the advantages here, disadvantages here, and then we are going to summarize it. One country that has experienced a significant economic boost from tourism is Thailand. Over the past 50 years, many of its small fishing villages where people often struggle to make living have been developed into thriving holiday destinations. With all the hotels, restaurants, shops, and other tourist facilities that have been developed, there are now enough jobs for everyone, and the general standard of living has greatly increased. Many local people have spotted new businesses opportunities and become entrepreneurs, which have further diversified the community. Here you can see this is the band 9 sample, and here we have written so many relative clauses, complex sentences. Now we are going to talk about disadvantages. In the Venus, on the other hand, the huge popularity of beautiful canals and the stunning architectures with visitors from around the world has had a negative impact on local residents. The growing need for tourist accommodation, places to eat and shop, has forced many people from their homes to make way for this new development. Not only have these people suffered from by having to move away from their family and friends, but the situation has also resulted in a lost sense of community in the worst affected area. In conclusion, although mass tourism can sometimes result in local residents having to be relocated, it greatly improves the lives of most people as well as contributing significantly to the national economy. Hence, the positive effects of developing a tourist industry definitely outweighs the drawback. So here we have given the conclusion, we have written about both the ideas, and also we have given our own personal opinion as well. So it was advantages, disadvantages, and now we are going to discuss the final type of the essay, that is the double question essay. Now the question is, fossil fuels are essential for producing electricity, powering industries, and fueling transportation. However, one day we will reach a point where all of the world's fossil fuels have been depleted. Now, there are two questions. This is why we are going to call it double question or direct question. How can we conserve these resources and what are some alternatives to the fossil fuels? Now, we have 4 paragraph structure: introduction, body 1, body 2, and conclusion. So the introduction is here. The world is currently reliant on oil, coal, and natural gas for a majority of its energy requirement, but there will come a point when these run out. This essay will discuss how we can help to prevent our non-renewable resources from becoming depleted by using our cars less frequently, and it will name some natural forces that can be harnessed to generate power. Now we have the body 1. Body 1, here we will talk about first question, how can we conserve, and in body 2 we will talk about alternatives. So, body 1, conserving energy is a responsibility of every individual, and an important way in which we can all do our bit is to use more energy efficient means of transport. The easiest way to do this is to leave the car at home and walk or cycle to our destination if it isn't too far away, or take public transport for local journeys. Another way to reduce our fuel consumption is to car share. Whenever my friend and I get together for coffee, we agree to meet up at a cafe and we can each get to without having to drive our cars there. We usually go on foot or ride our bikes. If everyone made small decisions like this, it would make a real difference. Now, body 2, the most suitable alternatives to the fossil fuels are the generation of power from natural forces such as the sun, wind, and ocean. Solar and wind powers are already widely used across the world, but it is wave power and tidal energy that have the greatest untapped potential to provide for our energy needs in the future. A report recently commissioned in the United Kingdom estimates that tidal energy could meet as much as 20% of the UK's current electricity demands once the technology being developed is operational. Wave energy converters are expected to prove equally successful in long term. Okay, so here we have given an example of a report. You can always extend the idea if you are unable to write an example and so on. Now we have conclusion. In conclusion, our Earth's reserves of fossil fuels will not only last forever, and we need to be continually developing new technologies to enable us to produce energy from renewable resources such as sun, wind, and water. In meantime, we can help to slow the rate of depletion by leaving car at home and using more efficient, energy efficient forms of transport whenever possible. So that's all about our IELTS writing task 2. Now we have uncovered all the 5 different questions types with model answer, and that's it.